Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is GGF bringing you episode 2 of Let's Play Pillars of Eternity, one of the finest CRPGs ever made, in my estimation. This is episode 2 and episode 2 of... Oh, the game just crashed, strangely. No, okay. It didn't crash, my bad. Episode 2 of character creation, so we're going to go over the classes today. We went through that.
Wagons grow blind.
And we're going to start making our characters. So, we know it's going to be a male. I haven't thought much, but I'm thinking it's going to be an elf. And I think it's going to be an exotic pale elf. And here go the classes. We're going to start with Barbarian. Brutes, madmen, berserkers. Those city-dwelling people often use the term barbarian with a dose of disrespect. These royal warriors are respected by their communities for their ferocity and fearsome presence on the battlefield. Barbarians have a special, almost religious role in some cultures, but in many places the undisciplined, fearless style of the barbarian is simply how warriors conduct themselves. Starting ability, Charge, Carnage. When barbarians hit with melee attacks, they automatically make reduced damage attacks at all other enemies within a short distance of the target. Athletics +2, survival +1. We'll get into these as well too. Athletics. Adventuring is tiring work. In addition to the hazards of mortal combat, adventurers have walls to climb, rivers to cross, and pits to leap over. Once per encounter, characters with athletics can use the second wind ability to recover lost endurance. A higher athletics score increases the effect of second wind. In conversations and scripted interactions, athletics is used for physical feats like climbing, swimming, and jumping. So you get a +2 in that. Survival. Survival allows characters to choose from a variety of long-term bonuses each time they camp. The first 6 ranks grant the following bonuses. Rank 1 is damage reduction. 2 is received healing multiplier. 3 is bonus movement. 4 is accuracy bonus versus creature type. 5 is increased consumable duration. 6 is bonus damage versus flanked enemies. After the 6th rank, the previously earned bonuses become more powerful in the same order they were received. Survival can also be used in conversation and scripted interactions that involve wilderness challenges or specialized information about nature. +1 to that. Endurance is, we'll just go with this, very high. Health is very high. Accuracy is average. Deflection is actually low. So low defense in this case. Then we've got the Chanter. In every culture across Aora, there are chanters. Many historians consider chanters to be the most ancient workers of magic. Their hallowed phrases stirring the collective memory of wayward souls around them, compelling them to generate magical effects in a kind of reenactment. In some societies, chanters form organized groups of storytellers and researchers, but in most parts of the world, they are just a time-honored part of local folk traditions. Starting abilities, phrases/chants. All chanters can continuously speak chants made up of magical phrases. Phrases produce passive effects and help build a chanter's power until they can use an invocation. A passive talent or ability is one that can be added to a character where the bonus is gained automatically. For example, a character with snake's reflexes gains their bonus to reflex saves automatically. Then they have invocations, powerful magical effects that chanters can create after they've spoken a required number of phrases through their chants. They get lore +2. Lore represents a character's accumulated miscellaneous knowledge and trivia, often of occult or esoteric topics. Outside of conversation and scripted interaction, lore is used to activate scrolls. Higher lore values allows the character to use higher level scrolls, so they get a +2 to that. Mechanics, traps and locks can be a problem for even the toughest adventurers. draining their resources and maiming or killing those who are unfortunate enough to trigger an unseen floor plate. The mechanic skill makes it easier to open locks and find and disable traps. Additionally, any character can use the mechanic skill to place traps of their own. The higher the mechanic skill, the more accurate the trap. In conversations and scripted interactions, mechanics can be used to activate or disable a variety of machines, +1 to that. Their endurance, however, is very low, their health low, accuracy average, and surprisingly deflection is quite high at 25. So good defense, actually. Then we've got ciphers, a recent discovery in the Eastern Reach. Ciphers were once called Brishaugen mind hunters by the Glanfothans. Ciphers have the ability to directly contact and manipulate another person's soul and psyche, using an ally's or enemy's essence as the focus for their magic. Though most ciphers are still found in the Eastern Reach, practitioners of the techniques have spread throughout the known world. They are gaining acceptance over time, but are generally distrusted, especially by the uneducated. Starting ability powers. Ciphers can directly target allies and enemies with powerful soul-focused effects. These powers cost focus, which ciphers build through the use of their soul whip. They get stealth +1. Stealth allows characters of any class to attempt to avoid being seen or heard. It is used automatically whenever the character is in scouting mode. The higher the character's skill, the closer they can get to enemies before being detected. Lore +1, mechanics +1. However, their endurance is very low. Their health is low, their accuracy is average, deflection is average. Ciphers, interesting class. Then we've got druids. Animists at heart, druids tap into the spiritual power that flows through the simple living things of Aora, plants, animals, and sometimes even living stone. While not necessarily religious, druids do have a reverence for the natural world and a keen interest in understanding its mysteries. In most cultures, druids are understood as a sort of primal magician, but among the Glanfothans, Nasataki, and many rural cultures, they may have high positions of influence and authority. Starting ability Spirit Shift. All druids have mastered one animalistic form. These forms give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. Spells. Druids have access to a variety of offensive and some support-oriented spells. Every 2 levels, druids automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As druids gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. So per encounter ability can only be used for a set number of times per combat. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per encounter may only be used 3 times during a single fight. At the end of combat, the uses will be refilled for the next encounter, and a per rest ability can only be used for a set number of times before running out of uses. For example, an ability that has 3 uses per rest may only be used 3 times. To regain these uses, the character must rest. And druids get a lore +1, survival +2. Their endurance is very low, their health is low, their accuracy is very low, deflection is average. Very cool. Then we've got fighters. Fighters form the front line of disciplined armies across the Eastern Reach. Though they are most commonly found in cultures with an organized martial structure, fighters can also be encountered as wandering mercenaries, bodyguards, and other types of sellswords. The common element that unifies fighters is their heavy focus on endurance and melee defense. Starting ability Constant Recovery. Fighters continually regenerate endurance at a modest rate during combat. Well, that's pretty cool. They get Athletics +1, Lore +1, Survival +1. Their endurance is only average, their health is high, their accuracy is very high, and their deflection is very high. Perfect for a fighter class. Monks belong to a variety of fighting orders that have sprung up in Ishamato in the Eastern Reach over the past few centuries. While many monastic orders can trace their teachings to the enduring founder, Teletak, individual organizations vary greatly in their focus, morality, and ethics. Common folk respect the incredible discipline of monks, but use them as an odd, unpredictable bunch. But see them as an odd, unpredictable bunch who may not be entirely sane. Even mercenaries and other adventurers aren't sure what to make of them. Starting ability. Transcendent suffering. When monks have no weapons equipped, their unarmed attacks are exceptionally powerful and continue to increase in damage as they gain levels. Wounds. As monks are damaged, their pain generates wounds. Wounds can be used to power many of the monks' special abilities. They get stealth +1, athletics +1, survival +1, their endurance is average, their health is very high, accuracy very high, deflection high. And we've got everyone's favorite, the Paladin. Paladins are martial zealots, devoted to a god, a ruler, or even a way of life. They can be found in any culture where a fanatical group of like-minded individuals have formed a warrior society dedicated to advancing their cause. Among those aligned to their worldview, paladins are viewed with respect and admiration, if a bit of fear. Many paladins hold leadership positions in armies and mercenary companies, but in the heat of battle, their fanaticism often overrules the chain of command and common sense. Start with faith and conviction. Paladins have an inherent bonus to all of their defenses. Over the course of the game, the value of this bonus may shift based on the reputations the paladin gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her order. There are 4 defenses in Pillar of Eternity: deflection, fortitude, reflex, and will. Each defense is used to resist a different category of attacks through the attack roll. Deflection is used to resist most direct weapon attacks or attacks that are similar to weapons. Fortitude opposes physical attempts to overpower a character or attack their body internally, like a poison. Physical area effect attacks like fireballs and lightning bolts are resisted by reflex. Almost all mental attacks are opposed by will. Fortitude, reflex, and will are all based on pairs of attributes. Might and constitution define fortitude, dexterity and perception define reflex, intellect and resolve define will. Base deflection is defined by the character's class and resolve. All characters gain flat bonuses to their defenses every level. Additionally, spells, abilities, afflictions, and items can all modify a character's defenses. Sounds awesome. So the Paladin gets athletics +2, lore +1. Their endurance is average, their health is high, their accuracy is average, their deflection is average. Not quite the powerhouse that we thought, but we've got priests, are devotees of Aor's deities and practitioners of religious magic. While all priests dedicate themselves to specific gods, priests' power is actually derived from their personal beliefs. In contrast to most paladins, priests tend to focus on philosophy, teaching, and the relationship of religious organizations with common folk. The reception of priests in any given part of the world depends largely on how their god is revered or reviled by the people who live there. Holy Radiance generates a modest amount of endurance for allies around the priest. Any enemy vessels caught in the area take burn damage and may be frightened. Over the course of the game, the power of this ability may shift based on the reputations the priest gains relative to the behaviors that are preferred by his or her deity. And frightened, resolve and dexterity are reduced by 2 and accuracy is reduced by 10. Spells. Priests have an access to a variety of support and some offense-oriented spells. Every 2-level priests automatically gain access to an additional set of spells. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As priests gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. +1 athletics, surprisingly, +2 lore. Very low endurance, low health, very low accuracy, low deflection. Few classes left. Rangers are warriors of the woodlands and masters of the hunt. Always partnered with soul-bonded animal companions, they can be found in wild spaces all over the world. As their lifestyles often tend toward independence and isolation, it is rare for rangers to become an integral part of a large fighting force, though they are often employed as scouts and guides. They start with an animal companion. All rangers share a strong bond with an animal companion. The companion fights at the ranger's command and is extremely valuable for its ability to run interference. Animal companions don't do much damage, but they do have high damage reduction. The link between the ranger and companion is so powerful, if one goes down in battle, the other suffers as well. Stealth +1, survival +2. Very low endurance, high health, very high accuracy, average deflection, plus an animal companion. Then we've got Rogue. Rogues are vicious killers, feared for the brutality of their attacks. They can be found as often in dark back alleys as the heart of battlefield skirmishes. Though unpredictable and undisciplined, rogues are commonly used as shock troops or as part of a surprise assault. Their withering attacks breaking enemy ranks and morale. Rogues tend to congregate in larger numbers in cities where they can be steadily employed as mercenaries or hired muscle. Sneak attack applies bonus damage to the rogue's ranged and melee weapon attacks when the target has any of the following afflictions: blinded, accuracy is reduced by 25 for all sources, perception reduced by 4, movements reduced by 2, reflex and deflection reduced by 20, flanked, deflection is reduced by 10, hobbled characters have their dexterity reduced by 2, movement by 1.5, and reflex by 20. Paralyzed, a paralyzed target can't take any action, their dexterity is set to 0, and their reflex and deflections are reduced by 40. Override stunned, stuck, and prone. Petrified character's soul temporarily transforms their body into immobile, brittle stone. They suffer the same effects as being paralyzed, but attacks do greatly increased damage. Overrides paralyzed, stunned, stuck, and prone. Also prone. They can't take any action. Dex is reduced by 2. Reflex and deflection reduced by 10. Stuck characters are rooted, able to act but unable to leave their current location. Their dex is reduced by 2. Accuracy by 5. For all sources, reflex and deflection reduced by 50 or by 20. Stunned characters can't take any action. Dexterity, perception, and intellect are all reduced by 4. Reflex and deflection reduced by 30. Override, stuck, and prone. Or weakened. Weakened characters have their might and constitution reduced by 2. Movement is reduced by 1. Fortitude and will are reduced by 20. It also applies to any target the rogue strikes with a weapon within the first 2 seconds of combat. Again, that's sneak attack. Stealth +1, mechanics +2, very low endurance, low health, very high accuracy, low deflection. And finally, we have Wizard. The masters of academic magic, wizards are students of arcane traditions that stretch back beyond the boundaries of recorded history. Wizards are a highly organized group, often forming academies or guilds devoted to research and development in magical studies, and tend to favor environments where inquiry, experimentation, debate, and the dissemination of knowledge are encouraged. Many accomplished wizards eventually became known for their eccentricity, their egos, and their unquenchable interest in all things arcane and occult. They start with Arcane Assault, mid-range attack that hits a small area for raw damage and can leave targets dazed. A dazed victim's accuracy is reduced by 10, dexterity, perception, and intellect reduced by 2, and attack speed reduced by 15%. Spells, wizards have access to a variety of offensive and personal defense spells. Unlike priests and druids, wizards learn individual spells that they store in and cast directly from their grimoires. Grimoires can only hold 4 spells of each spell level, which motivates wizards to keep multiple grimoires for different needs. Every 2 levels, wizards gain access to an additional set of spells. However, they can automatically learn 1 spell of any level they can access each time they advance. Wizards also have the option of learning spells from grimoires they find or buy. Initially, their spells can be cast a limited number of times per rest. As wizards gain power, their weaker spells eventually shift to per encounter use. Lore +2. Mechanics +1. Mechanics is interesting. And they get the very low treatment, very low endurance, low health, very low accuracy, low deflection. Now if we hit next on this, okay, it shows us what we can choose. Say we choose something. Okay, then it goes to classes or to attributes. So the subclass, I think that develops during the game, so we're not going to know what they are just yet. But that is very cool. What do we have here? Oh, constant recovery. I don't know what class my character is going to be. Druid seems pretty cool with like a scimitar and a little buckler. They get spirit shift. They've mastered one animalistic form, which give the druid strong melee abilities and grant an additional power while the druid is shifted. They gain spells, lore +1, survival +2. Very low accuracy, average deflection, so defensively they're not bad in melee. Accuracy is just very low, their health is low, their endurance is very low. Wizard could be cool. Rogue. I think we're going to be... Ciphers are interesting. Actually, decent accuracy and deflection. He's got like a greatsword. Not digging the armor options though. Probably gonna go with Druid actually. And let's check out the spells we get. Char Beast. The Druid utilizes his or her innate connection with the natural world to charm enemy animals in the area of effect. Dancing Bolt summons a flurry of thin bolts of lightning, hitting enemies in the area of effect with shock damage. Nature's Mark causes enemies in the area of effect to glow with pale green light, making them easier targets. Affected enemies suffer decreased deflection and reflex. Increased deflection and reflex, yeah. Sunbeam calls down a shaft of intense sunlight, burning and potentially blinding those caught in the area of effect. Talon's Reach conjures a giant pair of razor-sharp talons, causing slash damage to all in the area of effect. Tanglefoot rapidly grows a patch of twisted vines that surround and entangle anyone unlucky enough to get caught inside. Characters who set foot inside the area of effect become hobbled. Nature's Vigor draws on the invigorating power of nature, creating a mild regeneration effect and raising max endurance on party members. Vile Thorns shoots sharp thorned vines up through the ground, causing pierce damage and potentially sickening anyone in the area of effect. And Winter Wind causes an icy wind of incredible power to arise, pushing back all in the area of effect and inflicting freeze damage. Very cool, actually. I think we're just going to go and be a druid, but let's take a look, though, at Chanter. Lord Mechanics. The reflection is high. No, I think we'll be druid. A pale elf druid. I think that's pretty cool. Let's hit next. And then we get a form, a spirit shift. We can start with bear. Draws upon the druid's natural connection to the bear, temporarily allowing him or her to assume that form. The bear spirit shift has a high damage reduction and can invoke a terrifying roar. Its modal ability is one that causes the effects to occur continuously while it's active. For example, a paladin's zealous auras grant bonuses to everyone near them for as long as they are active. Modal abilities are often grouped so that only one modal ability and category can be active at any given time. These groupings are reflected by how the abilities are organized on the action bar. One per encounter. So can spirit shift every encounter. Duration is 15 seconds. The speed is instant. Shapeshift boar. The boar spirit shift regenerates lost endurance and inflicts damage over time with its melee attacks. Same idea, modal, 1 per encounter. The cat spirit shift has a naturally fast attack and can burst into even faster attacks for short periods of time. Stag. The stag spirit shift has higher defenses and can attack groups of enemies with its melee carnage attack. Spirit shift wolf. The wolf spirit shift moves quickly and has an attack that can knock enemies prone. Attacking groups of enemies with melee carnage sounds pretty cool. There is carnage, I think, no? Doesn't show it. Right click for details. Does not say what carnage is about. High damage reduction and can evoke a terrifying roar. I'm gonna go with stag, I think. Then we've got attributes. So did we go over what the attributes do? Yeah, I think we did actually, yeah. Alright, so 15 points left. Let's see. Influences durations and areas of effect for all abilities and talents. So we definitely want some in intellect. We're getting the +1 in perception and dexterity. This is action speed and reflex. Perception is... Oh, what is interrupt? Interrupt determines how likely a damaging attack is to delay their opponent's current or next action. The roll uses an interrupt value from the attacker derived from perception that is then compared to the target's concentration derived from resolve. A 1 to 100 roll is made, adding the interrupt. If the result is higher than the concentration, the target plays a hit reaction and their current action is delayed. The duration of the delay is determined by the interrupt strength listed on the weapon or attack. An interrupt applied to a character already suffering from an interrupt with a longer duration will have no effect. Fair enough. Mm-hmm. And then accuracy and reflex. Let's go with accuracy and reflex. Or accuracy. Wow, +9 interrupt. 3 accuracy. The graze or miss. Wait, did I read that to you guys? Yeah. Perception, dexterity is action, speed, and reflex. We want to be speedy. Get 2 points of that. +8 reflex, 12% action speed. Constitution, we should probably get 2 points of that. +10% endurance and health, +4 fortitude. And then might is damage and healing. +0 fortitude, we'll get 1 point of that. Intellect, area of effect, duration, and will. Area of effect is good for us. Resolve, concentration. Let's check out concentration. Character's concentration determines how likely they are to have their spells or attacks interrupted during combat. Every point of resolve increases character's concentration and is opposed by the attack's interrupt rating. Like attack rolls, interrupts are a randomized roll to determine if the interrupt is successful. If concentration is superior to the interrupt rating, the interrupt is less likely to occur. So we want some defense, deflection, and a little bit of concentration. And will is good too. Get more will. +9 concentration, 3 deflection, and 6 will. We have 1 point left. Go with the pretty balanced thing. Let's go with perception. 12 interrupt, 4 accuracy, 8 reflex. That looks good. Next would be culture. So we've got Adir, or Adir. The Adir Empire is currently the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. It is centered around the equator and has a tropical climate. Though the empire has colonies in numerous areas of the world, Greater Adir is at its heart and houses the majority of its human and elven nations. Resolve +1. One sec, guys. Deadfire Archipelago, consisting of the nation of Nasitak, dozens of dozens of Almawa settlements, and hundreds of lawless pirate-infested islands that stretch along the southern sea. Dozens of Almawa settlements, or Almua. Deadfire is home to boreal dwarves, Almua, and a mixed variety of other races. Deadfire Archipelago is the last stop for anyone headed east. A multitude of monstrous sea creatures infest the ocean beyond, making travel virtually impossible. Dex +1. The Shamato Plains, located to the northeast of Erglanfath. The Yashamato Plains are a large expanse of fertile savannas that are extensively farmed by human and Orlan residents. The Yashamato culture is one of the oldest in the world, though one of the least imperialistic, having spread out little over the past several thousand years. Resolve +1. Erglanfath. We went over. We'll go over it more as we play, but not right now. Old Valia. Let's see, we're 32 minutes in. Once the crown jewel of the southern seas, Old Valia is now the crumbled remnants of an empire of warring merchant nations. Counting many humans and dwarves among their ranks, the Old Valian countries are still forces to be reckoned with and are proud of their rich cultural heritage. Intellect +1. Rawatai, dominated by the Almua nation of Rawatai. The Gulf itself is host to a number of nations, most of them Almua, Orlan, and Dwarven. Though these countries are relatively young, they are some of the most advanced colonial settlements in the east. The Gulf is a land of riches and resources for those who can take them, though the entire coast is often pummeled by violent storms. Constitution +1. Rawatai. The Living Lands, which is where Avowed takes place, is the mountainous region of a large northern island renowned for its diversity of plant and animal life. Its weather is unpredictable, and its ecosystems vary dramatically from valley to valley. The Living Lands are home to an assortment of races and a variety of colonial and independent settlements. Might +1. The White That Wins, a large cracked southern expanse of polar ice. The White That Wins is home to pale elves and small colonies of daring explorers, outcasts, and adventurers. While virtually no plant life grows in the White, it is home to many hardy species of dangerous animals that forage from the sea or prey upon each other to survive. Perception +1. But kind of, the outback. We're in furs and stuff. This is excuse me, I wonder if this determines our look for the entire game, or if we can just wear, the new stuff and it looks like it's supposed to. We can have our pale elf come from a deer. Resolve +1, and we get the human and elven nations. And it's the largest and most powerful force in this part of the world. Tropical climate. One second, guys, bear with me. Alright, we are back. Sorry about that drastic cut there. I think we're gonna just come from a deer. Pretty basic, but now we have a background. Okay, different backgrounds. We're not gonna get into this episode though, guys. So next time, which I hope you join me, we'll get into background. We'll look through all these. We'll mess with the appearance a bit and the voice, and then we'll start our adventure. So hope you guys enjoyed these first 2 episodes. If you did, please like, comment, subscribe. That lets me know that you dig it and you'd like to see more. Thus more will get made. Also, friendly reminder, if you want to become a godlike legend, you can become a member on my channel or on patreon.com/fluent. Really appreciate all my members. Shout out to you guys. Love you all very much. And love the rest of you guys too. So I'll see you all in the next one. We're going to keep it moving. Definitely tune in. We still have some more choices to make, and then we're going to see how this adventure rolls out. Should be very dope. Like I said, I don't remember much from it. But we'll have to do our stats again, but they're pretty easy to figure out. But until next time, be well, live well, stay well. Much love, peace, and joy. And don't go anywhere. Lots of fun. Ready to be had with pillars. Ciao for now.